You post something, and then you check it. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. You already know nothing is there, but you check anyway. That is not excitement. That is anxiety. And here is what is actually happening. You are not just posting a photo. You are filing an application to be approved, to be confirmed, to be seen as okay. And every time no one responds the way you hoped, you quietly pull that application back. And you start to wonder if maybe you are not worth stopping for. You think the people who never post anything are like that because they do not care? Wrong. Those people are not hiding. They are not cold. They are not antisocial. And if you do not understand what they are actually doing differently, you will keep scrolling every night. Keep comparing yourself to everyone's highlight reel. And keep feeling like you are falling behind, even when your real life is not bad at all. Research shows your brain treats social validation like food or money. But it also shows this: the more you depend on it, the less stable your sense of self becomes. Let me describe something familiar. You post something, a work win, a trip, a meal. Almost immediately, you check. If the numbers are good, you feel a small lift. If they are low, something tightens in your chest. Or this: you got a promotion. Real, genuine good news. You posted, got some likes. But one person you respected did not react. And that one silence undid a lot of the satisfaction. Now here is the assumption most people make about people who never post. They must not have much going on. That is the wrong read entirely. Think about Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people alive, in his 90s, living in the same modest house he bought in the 50s. No personal content online, no highlight reel, and not a single person on earth questions whether he matters. The pattern that is actually true: the more settled someone is in their own sense of value, the less they need a feed to confirm it. So the question is not why they do not post. The real question is, why do you? When you post something and wait, you are not sharing your life. You are asking for permission to feel good about it. And underneath that is not a fear of low likes. It is the fear that if you go quiet, you will be forgotten. You will stop mattering. That fear is older than Instagram. Social media has just become the primary place where you go to silence it. Therefore, the difference here isn't whether you post or not, how much you post, but what you use as a measure of your self-worth. Here is what is actually happening inside your brain every time you scroll. You open Instagram on your lunch break. You see a colleague, same age, same field, just got promoted. 23 comments celebrating her. You see someone from college in Portugal. Sun, wine, architecture. You see someone else's morning routine. 5 a.m., gym, green smoothie, 3 things done before 9. And your brain, without asking your permission, starts running a comparison. Where am I in this picture? This is social comparison theory, documented by psychologist Leon Festinger in 1954. This is actually not weakness. This is just how the brain operates. It has been scanning for social position for thousands of years. But here is what social media does that nothing in human history ever did before. It floods that scan with input, constantly. Every scroll is a new data point. Every post from someone else is a new benchmark. And what your brain does with all that input is build a mental image, a picture of where you stand relative to everyone else. You compare unconsciously. But the problem is that it is a warped mirror. You are not seeing anyone's real life. You are seeing the version everyone chose to publish. The wins, not the setbacks. The arrivals, not the long waits. The polished caption, not the 3 drafts that got deleted. But your brain does not know it is looking at a warped mirror. It takes the image as real, and from that image, it builds a belief that everyone is moving faster than me. If I do not show up, I will be forgotten. If I am forgotten, I do not count. And from that belief, a thought, I should post something. And from that thought, the behavior. You post, you check, you feel relief, and briefly. Then the feed refreshes, the comparison resets, and the whole loop starts again. Reframe number 1. You do not post because you want to share. You post because your brain is trying to correct a warped image that makes you feel like you are already behind. The like button is not a measure of how much people care about you. It has become evidence your brain uses to decide whether you are enough. Reframe number 2. You do not need to be seen more. You are afraid of disappearing. Those are not the same thing, but they feel identical from the inside, which is exactly why this loop is so hard to break. And here is something worth sitting with. The people who post the most are not always the ones with the most to say. They are often the ones who feel the least settled inside. Not because they are less capable, but because they have not yet found a source of confirmation that does not require an audience. So here is what changes everything. The people who live quietly on social media, they are not enlightened. They did not do a 40-day silent retreat. They are not cold, and they are not hiding. They just found a source of confirmation that does not live in the feed. They are not people who do not need anyone. They are people who stopped letting other people's reactions decide what their life is worth. They do not need the warped mirror, because they stopped asking it questions. And what about you? You are still outsourcing the question, am I okay? Am I enough? Do I matter? To a platform that was specifically designed to keep you asking. This is not just a feeling. Your brain is wired to seek confirmation. Think about that for a second. Every feature of social media, the counter, the notification, the algorithm, was built to make sure you never feel fully answered. Because a fully answered person does not come back. You are not weak for needing validation. You are human. But you have been running that very human need through a system that was designed to keep it unsatisfied. That is not a personal failure. That is just what the system does. You are not behind. You are not missing a quality that other people have. You are not broken for caring what people think. You just have a brain that has been fed a very specific kind of input every day for years. And that input has been quietly building one belief. My value needs to be demonstrated regularly, or it starts to disappear. That is not a character flaw. It is a learned response, built from repetition. In fact, the people who live quietly are not stronger than you. They just changed what was going into their minds in the first place. Different input, different mental image, different belief, and the behavior followed without force. Here is the reframe that matters most. This is not a game you are losing. This is a game that was never designed to be won. Because for every high mountain, there is an even higher one. There is always someone newer, further along, with better numbers, no matter how much you try. The feed refreshes. The comparison resets. The anxiety always comes back. The only way to stop losing is to stop playing, not by deleting the app, but by changing the source you use to measure yourself. Because wanting to change your behavior while keeping the same input is like trying to fix the reflection without ever turning the mirror around. So are there any measures? 3 moves, small, specific, and they actually work. First, change what you see. Unfollow anyone who consistently triggers the "and where am I?" response. Not because they are doing anything wrong, but because every time you see someone your age buying a house, getting promoted, traveling constantly, and your automatic response is, "And where am I?" That is not inspiration. That is the warped mirror doing its job. What your eyes consume daily shapes the mental image your brain builds. And that image feeds your beliefs about where you stand. Simple principle: reduce the input, reduce the distortion, reduce the compulsion to prove yourself in response. Second, change what you say to yourself. The next time you feel the urge to post, pause for 2 seconds and say this: "I am here, do not need to be seen to exist." Research on cognitive behavioral techniques shows that inserting a counter-statement into a habitual thought pattern weakens the neural pathway behind it over time. It means the urge will still be there, but it gets smaller. And over time, smaller becomes manageable. What you repeat to yourself reshapes the image in your mind. When the image shifts, the belief shifts. When the belief shifts, the behavior follows without a fight. Third, the invisible post. Take the photo. Write the caption. Make it good. And do not post it. Just save it. Wait 5 minutes. You will feel a low-grade restlessness, an itch you are not scratching. That discomfort is the unmet esteem need making itself visible, not the love of sharing, the anxiety of not being validated. You are not addicted to posting. You are addicted to the 3 seconds of relief after. The brief moment when the fear of not being enough goes quiet. Feel that distinction once. Really feel it. And you will never look at the urge the same way again. The root of this was never about whether you post or not. It was always about one question: do you really need other people to confirm that your life is real? When you change what you feed your eyes every day, when you change what you say to yourself, when you sit with the discomfort of not being immediately validated, you do not just post less. You stop filing applications to be seen. And that is when something shifts. Not dramatically, quietly. The same way the anxiety built, slowly, through repetition. The peace comes back the same way. You do not need to prove you are living. You just need to actually live. When was the last time you posted something just because it made you happy? Not to be seen, not to stay relevant, not to quiet the fear of being forgotten. Just because. If you had to think about it for longer than 2 seconds, that is the whole answer right there. If this landed somewhere real, leave it in the comments. I'll read them.